Praise the name of the Lord. You are welcome to Power in His Presence with the Apostle General Sam Korankye Ankrah. What a time to have fellowship and worship with you and your family. God bless you one more time for joining us, and Happy New Year to you and yours. God bless you. Today we are bringing you a powerful message titled Holding the Horn of the Altar. Holding the Horn of the Altar. And we are bringing this message in this season because it's perfect for what is happening right now. It is the season of the week of the altar, and this message is telling you why you must leave your home and come and hold the horn of the altar of your Father. My God, I cannot wait for you to hear these revelations. Your life is not going to be the same again. Don't go anywhere. Don't change that channel. Stay tuned. This is Power in His Presence. I'll be right back to pray with you. God bless you.
Our sermon title this morning is Holding the Horn of the Altar. Holding the horn. I have in my hands a very powerful horn from Israel. Holding the horn of the altar. The Hebrew word for altar is elevated position. A place that is lifted and elevated. So the first thing you must know, that your altar is higher than you. Your altar is bigger than you. Amen. Your altar is elevated. Kamaso bitaya madu rabba. Clap your hands and shout, I receive it.
I receive it.
You can't run to anything you are bigger than. Whatever you run to must be bigger than you and must be higher than you. An altar is an exalted position in the realms of the spirit. Another Hebrew rendition of altar is to approach. To approach. To approach. So, putting the two definitions together, we will say that an altar is an elevated position or place that you approach for what? For help. Divine spiritual help. The altar.
Hebrew actually say ba konso no say bia enipa akwana say bia ye nante ko ndi yesi emienu no abomu ana kire say bia ekro a ye nante ana say ye ko ho e ma ne atumi afiri ho no no e ba ye nso bia ekro a ye ko ho.
God made a covenant with his altar in Exodus chapter 21 verse number 14. Exodus chapter 21 verse number 14. Amplified. Exodus chapter 21 verse number 14. Look at the covenant God has placed on his altar. And if by now you have never understood the potency and the power of the altar, I am here to renew your mind, because we are going to do 21 days of prayer and fasting the week of the altar.
Se wunyante aforomuka asia enano pay mede mosi humatoso mienu eti aduonu ba ku nchimo yedu na eba ba kira wo senia yewura nasa na wacha yekomu a yebe awrade anim ewo na aforomuka yi ubehu senia aforomuka no eso na ekron efa.
Look at one of the law, the first mention, the law of first mention, as far back as in Exodus. Look at the law of Moses, the Levitical law of Moses. Look at what the law says. But if a man acts intentionally against another and kills him by design through treachery, you are to take him from my altar, to which he may have fled for protection, so that he may be put to death. That's the law of first mention. If the person has committed murder, punishment for which he must be punished, once he goes to the altar, you can't touch him. And so for you to punish him, Take him away from the altar before you can kill him. But as long as he remains on the altar, nala, you can't touch him. Yeah. I don't know who is chasing your life, and I don't know who is chasing your family. We are telling them that the game is over because the altar is here. Clap your hands and scream like you believe the word.
And also be at Yawu, no Otumijani Ebete, our Formucanusua. So any Bacono Yafaya and Sankano, no mum see to me in the fee, a Formucanosodia. Near say Yanu Piano, you bet to me Ayano. Not just say, a Formucano to me Bia, Elpo Nipa Hubai.
That's the law.
And no any more Sembrano.
The altar is a place of protection.
Just say, Open Bamba, a Formucano.
Once the person is at the altar,
send upon it to Brika Eba Formucanosua.
He is exempted from death. The only way you can kill him is remove him from the altar. Ladies and gentlemen, if there is any plan of the devil, is to prevent you from coming to the altar in this fasting. Is to cut you away from your father's altar. But clap your hands and scream and say, the devil is a liar. Tell some proud, shout and say, I am connected and I have taken my place. Already from today throughout this week, 21 days and 2024, I am on the altar of my father. Devil, it is over. Clap your hands and scream with shout of joy.
Who can stand against the Lord?
Atafwe, so what do you say? I fear where I'm Ube yimi efi meja aforo mu kan so ne wakọ akoye me boni a utumi nya de biara da esa se efi otena eko me ba me papa aforo mu kai so edi me nsam nyina aba betu nanim na aforo mu kai wo honti menya pambo soronko aforo mu kai wo honti ewrade bebo me ho ban na tum ebedoso esa se me wa aforo mu kai eso.
Abraham, the father of faith, he built an altar.
Abraham oye gidiefo nyina ja no ono so asi aforo mu ka.
What did the altar do for Abraham? His altar was the reason why at the age of 100 and Sarah 90, they could still produce a child. The altar spoke for them. It was on the altar at Mount Moriah that God entered into everlasting covenant with Abraham and said, your generation shall prosper forever and ever and ever. And that covenant has been fulfilled till today. Abraham's altar spoke. Can I suggest to you that your altar will speak for you? Can you clap your hands and say, my altar, my father's altar, speak for me?
But when some year radia,
my son, Adete, this is the introduction. You have come to the altar already. Oh, today you come to the altar 13 times. You wait the revelations that are coming. Those of you who sit down there and you don't know what to do with your father's altar. You think you have been coming? You think people have been saying you've been coming to the altar too much. Tell them they should wait. You will now go to the altar.
It's that time of the year for the annual Global Prayer Festival, Week of the Altar 2024. It's a season of intense prayer and warfare to fortify you and your family for the new year. Join the Apostle General Sam Korankye Ankrah in the 21 days of fasting and prayer with prophetic directions under the theme, Be Strong, Be Courageous. Date 8 to the 28th of January 2024 and the time is 5:30 p.m. Mondays to Fridays and 8 a.m. on Sundays. The venue is Royal House Chapel, the Oil Dome near Obeche-Bilamte Interchange. Services will also be live on Facebook, Sam Korankye Ankrah, YouTube, Powerline TV, TV, and your favorite Christian television, Powerline TV. Start the new year the right way at the Week of the Altar 2024. Come and experience prayer, power, praise, presence, and the prophetic.
Esa formuka yana na Abraham esi ewo mora bepo no sunti Awurade ka kyerɛ sɛ Abraham woni wasifo nyinara mubedi yie ebesi ene yedi no koso a ewo Abraham abusu
efisɛ altar no kasa
esa sa formuka osi ya ewo mora bepo no so no sa formuka no eda so a ekasa ma no.
Moses built an altar. Of all the altars of the patriarchs, two are very popular. The altar of Moses and then the altar of Solomon. Now, the altar of Moses was popular because Moses was a trained architect. So he designed the altar himself. And Moses' altar is the one that the Israelites adopted, having the 4 horns at the corner. So Moses' altar is 4. And then at every corner is the horn. So there are 4 horns. And don't forget that this year we are dealing with the number 4. That is why we are beginning our week of the altar tomorrow, the first 4 days. I was looking for a creation that has wings. And then the Spirit of the Lord dropped the bee. It has wings. And so we'll start straight away with the honey, because honey is coming from the bee, which has wings. And you know already, when 2 wings are made available, then you are about to be lifted from the persecutor and the devourer, and you are going to be placed in the place of safety. And so we are going to do first 4 days of unleavened bread and the honey. Unleavened bread and the honey. Unleavened bread and the honey. First 4 days. 4 for creation. 4 for the earth. This year, you want to mix up with your fasting and eat a lot of fruit, because fruit is the product of the earth. Vegetables is the product of the earth, because the Lord is about to open the earth to swallow anybody who is after your life. Clap your hands and say, I hear the prophetic direction. So I've dropped the first prophetic direction. I've dropped the first one. We are dealing with a creation of God that has wings. And we can't eat butterfly because Alan Chiramanti will not allow us to eat his butterfly. And so we are going to eat the honey, which comes from the bee. This year, we shall fly over the mountains and our enemies cannot pull us down. The clapping is not enough.
Yeka formuka ebi wo ha yeda soronko na ba ko ni Mose aformuka osi no ya papa se aformuka no eye no e ma no je ebia anase empon anan na anan no so no ba ko biara e wo ho a ode abemben esi ho enti na papa se opaabu bi anka o won taban a ode mbehwe na emom ne anya ne se nyanya abo a oye ewo asa enda edikan na etoso me no kusu nan no ye de abo bi ebribi ebeye dwuma na je se ewo Efia wahuno enu ne yede beye dwuma abo a otu afie wei wo bebetu afie wei wo bekosoro na ba bia obeko no watamfo atimi me be biara da esa se wo ntaban na wo de bebetu.
First 4 days, tomorrow to Thursday, the unleavened bread and honey.
And then na edikan e wo yakontimu eye epiti ana se abodo a is enim ene ewo.
4 horns. 4 the number for creation. 4.
And now ejihama abodie ntia papa si abodie hu ne yeba bedi dwuman se ya enuaba se ya atosode ni nyina afi abodi mu and na edika enan no eno ne yedi bedi dwuma.
Solomon's altar was also very, very popular. Why? Because by Solomon's time, he was so wealthy and was so rich, he used brass and gold to build his altar. So Moses' altar was rich wood with horns at the corner. And I will be telling you why you must be holding the horn of the altar shortly. My message is entitled Holding the Horn of the Altar.
na yɛka afɔremuka baako nso a ɛno nso ɛda soronko ɛyɛ Solomon deɛ no ɔno deɛ ɔde sika akɔ ɛne brase ɛna de yɛ ɛho nyinaa Mose ɛde dua ne bɔɔ ɛdin ɛne mmɛmmɛnan nanso Solomon deɛ ɔde sika akɔ ɛfa ne ho enti ɛbɛba sɛ ɔba bɛkyerɛ yɛn sɛ okuta abɛnbɛn no mu na wodi di dwuma ɛwɔ afɔremuka no so.
What did Moses' altar do? Moses' altar was the one responsible for breaking 450 years of slavery and checking them into the land of promise. The altar.
Ɛdeɛn na Mose afɔrebɔdeɛ anasa afɔremuka ɛyɛyɛ saa afɔremuka ɛyi nkoasom a na adi mfio ɔhanan ɛne akyi no saa afɔremuka no ɛyi wɔn fi nkoasom mu.
I like David's altar. I like David's altar. So his citizens were dying through a curse of diseases and plagues. And then when he built his altar on Araunah's threshold, Bible says the dead ceased immediately. The altar came through for him and said, enough is enough. People don't die on this altar.
Oh, but when some year Radia Emma David David afɔremuka no abaeɛ ɛbɛrɛ na Israelfoɔ yare biara bɛto obi bia no awu atoria gyema kɛseɛ a ɛkum ne nipa ɛmra David ɛsi na afɔremuka pɛ ɛwɔ hare na asase pɛ ɛna owuo yaredɔm ne ɛto ɔmo nyinara ne nyinara ɛtutwaeɛ na kyerɛ sɛ David afɔremuka no ɛde ayaresa ɛne nkwatenten abrɛ Israelfoɔ.
But I like Solomon's altar. Solomon's altar was the one responsible for bringing wealth and prosperity and money to Israel. Solomon's altar.
Ɔhene Solomon so afɔremuka ɔsia no ɛna de yɛdi ankasa ɛbrɛ Israel man nyinara. Solomon afɔremuka.
Two powerful men went to the altar. One is called Adonijah. The other one is called Joab. Who are these powerful men? Adonijah was the senior brother of Solomon. And he felt that by right he must succeed his father David. And he had certain rebellious people who joined him and made him king and anointed him, and they had started partying. So he had actually taken over the throne of his father David. Then by prophetic transformation and movement, the prophet Nathan intercepted and said, King David, your throne has been stolen by your son Adonijah, but you made a promise that it is Solomon who must be king. And then David instructed Nathan, go to the city center, take Solomon, put him on my horse, anoint him, proclaim him king. And it was done. And the trumpet blew. And the celebration, Solomon had become king. Then Adonijah heard the news that hey, your father David has empowered Solomon. Solomon is king. What did Adonijah do? Adonijah ran to the altar and held the horn of the altar. And here was what happened. 1 Kings chapter number 1. 1 Kings chapter number 1 and verse number 50. 1 Kings chapter number 1 and verse number 50. 1 Kings chapter number 1 verse number 50. Now Adonijah was afraid of Solomon. So he arose and went and took hold of the horns of the altar. And it was told Solomon, saying, indeed, Adonijah is afraid of King Solomon. For look, he has taken hold of the horn of the altar, saying, let King Solomon swear to me today that he will not put his servant to death with the sword. Then Solomon said, if he proves himself a worthy man, not one hair of him shall fall to the earth. But if wickedness is found in him, he shall die. Verse 53. Because of the horn of the altar. So King Solomon sent them to bring him down from the altar. And he came and fell down before King Solomon. And King Solomon said to him, go to your house. The altar saved Adonijah. Because there was a law that they were operating under. The law of don't touch anybody who comes to the altar. The law of don't touch anyone who comes to the altar's pregnancy. The law of don't touch their marriage, don't touch their children, don't touch their finances. There is a law that is speaking for you, except that you do not know how to utilize that law.
Oh, but with somewhere. I'm Rebecca somehow ever for Mukan so. Nasana Adonijah ya Yamran Solomon ebedi hineno. Adonijah Johnny ako som bembenumu. Send ya be Solomon ne ho betano. Na Solomon ka chen se. Mon ka chen se so sakra na jia. Me Solomon me nya ne hwe. Mon fa ne mra ya de ne ba no ka chen se Adonijah kofie. Na kire se bibi akasa ma Adonijah. E ya de ba ya. Aforu mu kana akasa ma Adonijah de. Adonijah wonya fa hudi. Adonijah Umanya faundi, Adonijah, Unyanya faundi, Adonijah, Wajimano so anya faundi.
So, why is the horn of the altar so powerful?
It's your sambisani ye. Adana Bembea, Ewa for Mukansono, and what to me say?
The altar was established to receive the sacrifices of the people because that's where they meet God. So, those of you who don't believe in tithing, change your definition. Those of you who don't believe in altar sacrifices and covenant, you better renew your mind. The first reason why the altar was established was to be a place of humanity meeting divinity through sacrifices.
Aformuka so and yesia ye Nyankopon no e wa aforbodie mu aformuka no so ne ye de aforieba e ho na awrade tumi esia ye enti sa wa agin bi e wa aformuka hu so bi ba aformuka so bi e de ne tuso du aba aformuka no so no sakrawagin esense aformuka no ye bia yesia tumi a e wo tumi nyina achi e wo honum.
So if they slaughtered the animal for the sacrifice and they placed the animal on the altar, then there are pipes leading to the four corners of the altar. And then the horn of the Lord is fixed at the corners. So the blood would then run through those pipes and then run out through the horn. And so number one, the horn represents the lamb, the animal that has been slaughtered, a shadow of Christ for salvation. And then the blood running through the horn now becomes the place to seek justice, the place to seek divine intervention. The horn becomes the symbol of deliverance, the symbol of salvation because of the blood running through the horn. So number one, the horn becomes the symbol of salvation. 2, symbol of deliverance. 3, symbol of justice. You seek justice on the altar. The horn. David said in Psalm 92, Psalm 89, Psalm 92, Psalm 89, he said, you have exalted my horn like the wild ox. My horn is exalted. And the following verse says, thou hast anointed me with oil. And so that is why everywhere you see the horn also symbolizes authority. It symbolizes power. It symbolizes anointing, the oil. It also stands for exaltation. You have exalted me like the horn of a wild bull.
We believe you've been blessed by this sermon. For enquiries, please call +233 26 767 6055 +233 26 767-6055 or send an email to info@godswordforus.com. info@godswordforus.com.